Cloud. Okay, hello everybody. Welcome back. We're going to take you through the facilitation package. So here we go. Share. Okay, awesome. So when you email us at asianalliesconvo@gmail.com, you'll be sent with a request for the facilitation package. You will have access to this. So what we'll be sending you is a Google Drive. And for those of you who haven't watched our previous video, please go back and watch that so that you can get a sense of what this is about. But essentially, this is a way for you to have some guidance and a framework for organizing a conversation that's centered around addressing anti-Black racism in Asian communities in your own city, community, wherever it is that you are. And so when you first go to the facility, you will have a list of different things. First go into the checklist folder. And this is a series of just kind of things you should know as organizers. So notes for organizers before you begin. So this is where you would start. And these are just notes that we've compiled for folks who are interested in having this conversation, and just things that you need to keep in mind in order to hold a space with integrity. So it's about 2 and change pages, which goes through important things to understand about what it means to be an ally, quote unquote. Again, we talked about some of that stuff in our previous video. And just thinking about not centering yourself. You know, this is not about you. It's not about us getting together and feeling really good about the fact that we had this conversation and, you know, oh, look how good of an ally I am. You know, it's really about centering in on the work of Black liberation and not just being patted on the back for being a good ally, quote unquote. The other thing that you really need to have is a supportive team. I really highly encourage you to have a core team so that you're not lone soldiering it, which I know a lot of us are used to doing, but things are a lot easier when you do this through a team. Understanding your capacity, being well informed, checking yourself, being humble, and also seeking counsel from Black organizers. Understanding that this is a conversation, of course, that is intended for Asian folks, but we've also often had requests or just questioning around the involvement of Black folks in the space. So sometimes what we've done in order to address that is to hire Black consultants, organizers who can review some things with us and check us on our thinking. And we do pay them for their time because we also want to be careful about not asking Black folks for free labor. So some of the things that we need to keep in mind, what the space was intended for. I think sometimes, again, that questioning around, well, Black people should be part of this conversation. Yes, absolutely, in a larger sense. But I think when we're talking about the space that we're trying to create in particular, it is about Asian folks coming together within our own community to have that conversation amongst ourselves. Because there are, when we have Black folks involved in that space, it does change the dynamic of the conversation. And again, these are some ways that you can address that. And if you have more questions around that, you can contact us directly. Fundraising strategies and being clear on the intention and the purpose of the conversation. It's about having candid conversations and having a safe space for us to address these things within our own communities. So,
this is all available for free.
All available for free, yeah. And it really is just intended to be a resource for any organizers or facilitators who want to put this together. And so, again, we have templates for the event day timing, the things that you need to have in mind. So we have all of these checklists of things that you need to have prepared. So we have checklists for pre-event, We also have checklists for different roles and responsibilities of members of your team. So it could be, you know, what do you need to secure for your venue? What do you need to think about in terms of food and music and preparing your facilitators and note takers and documentation. We've thought of a lot of different things. We often have live tweeters and have things online. So if you want to actually check back on our previous conversations, just search the hashtag Asian Allies Convo on Twitter, and you'll be able to see some of the live tweeting that took place over this previous year, and also years gone past too. Checklist number 3, day of event. So what do you need to kind of have prepared, how that's going to go, what you're going to do at what time. And again, these are all kind of laid out for you and is modeled after our 2018 conversation that we had in Toronto. And some of these things may not necessarily fit your demographic or the way that you want to have your conversation. So just know that these are here as a template and it totally works. But if you want to kind of remix things or address different things in your conversation, that's totally cool too. So this is also a checklist for post-event things that you need to follow up on. Also remember that in our conversations this year, we also had groups of youth participating, which definitely meant that some of the ways that we framed this looked a little bit differently. If you want to look back at some of the things that we talked about in 2018 in Toronto, we have kind of notes and you know, so you can kind of take a look back on what are some of the things that people have said in our conversation, and what are some of the things that came up. So those notes are there for you as well. And also there was a zine that was created by one of our organizers in Toronto in 2018. And this is available for you as well. So you can kind of take a look at in a more visually, aesthetically pleasing way how we addressed and worked through some of the things that we looked at. So you can take a look at that. And this again is it's a compilation of some of the conversations that we've had up to this point. These are snippets of quotes of people from the conversation, and then the topics that we talked about. So this is the first topic. So in the conversation, we had 3 topics, and we had breakout groups. So you could encourage people to choose one conversation to focus on, or another. And if you just want to choose one topic to do for your conversation, that's totally cool too. We had options for 3 different conversations so people could choose. Complicity and privilege. And these are some of the conversations that you pose to the folks who gathers to kind of initiate some of the conversation. So a lot of this package is posing of questions, allyship, activism, and organizing. So what does allyship mean? How do we leverage our privilege? How do we address respectability politics? What is the role of intersectionalities? So again, that was the second topic that we talked about. The third topic was, again, these are all kind of things that people said. The other thing was cultural appropriation. I'm not sure where that one is. Maybe we missed it, but that was the third. That was the third topic that we talked about. And then this is again just another reiteration of the facilitation toolkit and additional resources. We have glossaries that are available, ways of kind of administering land acknowledgement, a lot of good stuff. And this also is some resources for, I think in 2017, what we did, our conversation was centered around the Letters for Black Lives campaign. If you guys are interested in checking that out, you can Google that. And that was a international, well, I guess international, Canada and the US letter campaign put together to address, like, how do we have this conversation with folks in our family? And it was a letter that was created as a jump off point for us to be able to start that conversation. So that resource is available for you as well, which was a separate but related thing. So we have, you know, all sorts of different things in here. So this is even kind of the day of registration, where you can kind of input people's information if you want to collect registration in the beginning. And then for the event itself, we have agendas for organizers and that you can display on the board. And this basically takes you through the agenda for the day and what should be happening when, and with notes of kind of what you should be addressing. And when you're speaking about things like the land acknowledgement and different things to remind people of what this is and what it's not. And yeah, basically a breakdown of, so you can see some of the conversation that was happening between our consultants. So that is there. So a full kind of breakdown, all of this thought work has been done for you. Again, you can remix it how you like. And see here. So these were kind of handouts that we would then cut or print so that people can have on hand with the conversation topics. So the conversation topic number 1 was cultural appropriation and popular culture, silence, complicity, and privilege, and allyship, anti-Blackness, and activism and organizing. So you'll have on a 1 page all the different questions that were asked to stimulate the conversation in each one of the 3 conversation spaces. We also have, you know, BLM demands. Those are probably outdated from 2018, but just as an example, sometimes what we'll do is just present some of the Black Lives Matter demands so that we can remind ourselves about what are some folks saying from the Black community, so that we can also continue to take leadership from them as well in the ways that fit within this space. A simple eval that you can have available for participants to fill out at the end of the conversation that you can easily print out. And we have a glossary available.
Wow.
Yeah, lots of stuff with a lot of terms that we use in these conversations and as facilitators, so that folks have a place to kind of look up some of these terms that are often thrown around. We have lists of additional resources that folks can also have available. I think this is not a complete list. I think there was another list, but anyway. We also have something called Model Minority Myth Handout, and this was something that was compiled to address some of the things that we face as Asian folks in the space of anti-Black racism, and understanding that the model minority myth was something that was specifically crafted, I don't know if some of you know this, to pit Asian and Black communities against each other. And so this kind of provides some context. This is framed within kind of a Canadian context because, again, it started in Toronto, but this was also, it's kind of here as a model for you if you want to put together some resources around the timeline of anti-Black racism, and just a snippet around addressing the model minority myth. Yeah, and then we also have resources for land acknowledgement and different approaches as to how to do that, and what even is a land acknowledgement and why is it important. So these are some of the resources that are available to you when you kind of gain access to the facilitation package. And if you wanted to kind of look at things from a full vantage point, oh, I think it's already open. So the full, sorry, there you go. This is the full facilitation package. If you just kind of have it all in one place and you just want to scroll through, we have all of the contents kind of laid out here for you, and you can kind of jump to them. And all of what I basically went through with you in the individual resource documents here is kind of all in one place if you prefer to just kind of see it all in one go. So that's also available for you. So I think that's it. I think that's it. So that's the Google Drive with.
That's a lot.
It's a lot. It took us a while. It took us a while to put it together, but it's there and it's available for anybody who wants to host a conversation in your city and are just wanting a place to start. You know, it also does come with some support as well if you decide that you want to host this conversation. What I've done typically with the other cities is, you know, help them with some of the behind the scenes kind of preparatory work so that you won't be completely on your own. And then also, of course, based on my own capacity at the time, we'll talk about that. But support is there for you if you want to have this conversation. So don't allow for your doubts around your own ability. Of course, you do need to have a certain level of experience in facilitation. But you can also just be an organizer, and you can find a facilitator in your area that has experience in leading these conversations, and you can play a more logistical role as well if you're interested in having this conversation. You're like, well, you know, but I'm not really a public speaker. That really freaks me out. Like, I don't really want to be the person at the front of the room guiding people through a process. You don't have to be that person. You can be the person who gathers people, who have the skills and the desire to do that. So all to say, if you want to do it, the resources are there. And also, again, you can use this package as a resource to help inform perhaps like just one-on-one conversations that you want to have, and maybe some of the things and the questions that you might want to think about in having those conversations. So
We have a Facebook group too. We almost forgot to bring that up, that you can join our Facebook group for Asian Allies Convo. Is that the correct title? Mm-hmm. Where we all get together and we use social media to stay connected.
Yeah, so you can, I think, just search on Facebook, Asian Allies Convo. And I think the full thing is Asian Allies Convo addressing anti-Black racism in our communities. And so you can look that up. If you have trouble finding it, again, you can email us at asianalliesconvo@gmail.com.
You can reach out to those who you know in AAPA as well, who are some of this, because quite a few of us are involved. You check out some of the other videos as well. I know Matt Lee submitted a video about what he did in Boston. Out if you're interested.
Oh, say that again. I think you cut out.
Oh, I was going to say that please reach out to other people who are involved in the Convo in AAPA as well.
Who are those people?
Okay, so I did a convo. Nelly was instrumental in a convo that happened in San Diego. Rahul did a conversation in Chicago. Matt Lee did a conversation in Boston, and he put together a video about what he did. So please take the time to click that link as well. I don't know. I think that's. I'm sure I didn't name everyone.
Yeah,
I know Gloria's doing some stuff, but it's not affiliated with Asian Allies Convo, but I know that she's been doing stuff.
Mm-hmm. And then we had Grace and Candy in San Diego. I don't know if they're part of AAPA, but they definitely were part of organizing. And folks up in Toronto as well. Shout outs to the folks up in Toronto. Jacqueline and Srita and all the heads. And in Atlanta, we were going to do a conversation, and then we got locked out of our venue the day of, because there was some movie screening or movie film production, and we didn't get a heads up. And then the pandemic hit, so we haven't been able to have that as yet, but hopefully we will in the future. So yeah, reach out to us. Let us know if you're interested in having this conversation, and we'll be here for you.
Thanks again, son.
Thanks, Max.